In other world news, Honduras has formally broken off decades-long diplomatic relations with Taiwan and switched to China. It comes after the Honduran foreign minister traveled to Beijing to discuss establishing ties. This leaves Taiwan with only 13 diplomatic allies. China considers self-ruled Taiwan as part of its territory to be retaken by force if necessary. The U.S. says Honduras' action is a sovereign decision, but has warned that China often makes empty promises.
We will not engage in meaningless dollar diplomacy with China. In the past few years, China has constantly used various methods to suppress Taiwan's international participation, has increased its military incursions against us, and attacked regional peace and stability. These pressures and threats will not alter the reality that Taiwan and the People's Republic of China are not affiliated with each other. Neither will they decrease the will of the Taiwanese people to insist on freedom and democracy while walking with big strides towards the world.
Well, let's speak to Vincent Chow about this. He's a Taiwanese politician and a former diplomat. He's joining us live from Taipei. Thank you for your time. Thank you for being on Al Jazeera. So Honduras is now the 9th diplomatic ally that Taiwan has lost to Beijing since Tsai Ing-wen took office as president. She's pro-independence, we know. What is your reaction first, and how big of a blow is this for Taiwan?
Well, certainly it's the latest in a long line of diplomatic switches we've seen over the past few years. China has been very intent on taking away Taiwan's international space through political means, through economic means, and through foreign affairs means and diplomatic means. And certainly I think Honduras is reflective of that. I mean, it was a bigger blow, I guess, a few years ago when Taiwan's diplomatic allies started to switch, given that this is the latest in a long line of them happening. You know, domestically, there isn't as big of a political reaction as there once was. I think people have recognized that China's intent on engaging in this dollar diplomacy to try to switch Taiwan's diplomatic allies. And the best thing we can do about it in response is to strengthen our partnerships with non-diplomatic allies, including the United States, Japan, and other like-minded democracies around the world.
I'll ask you a bit more about what Taiwan's response could be in trying to get some more allies on its side. But if China is isolating Taipei right now, what does it mean for Taiwan's independence ambitions? Do you think it's a big setback? Is it having an impact?
Well, I think certainly the way this government sees Taiwan's situation politically is that we are a sovereign independent country called the Republic of China. And there's no subordination to the People's Republic of China based in Beijing. And so the president made that clear in the clip you've shown a couple minutes ago. And so, you know, in the sense that, yes, it is a blow to Taiwan's international recognition, but no, it is not as big a deal as it once was. And, you know, I think people are more intent and focused on right now, which is the security sphere, on regional security, on cross-strait issues, on ensuring a great relationship with the U.S. and other security partners. So that's sort of where the foreign and diplomatic affairs focus is right now, rather than maintaining a larger amount of diplomatic allies.
Right, but the way China has done this, I mean, China has spent billions to win recognitions for its one China principle. What is now Taiwan prepared to do not to lose this diplomatic battle and end up perhaps being completely isolated?
Well, the issue with China is that it's very difficult to compete dollar to dollar against them. Oh, number one, I mean, they've made a lot of lavish promises that may or may not have come true in the past. But more problematically, some of these dollar diplomacy have gone to private pockets. And so we saw this recent expose, for example, by Micronesia's president, that the Chinese ambassador there openly bribed, for example, sitting government officials. So that's sort of what we're dealing against. And I'm not sure
how do you respond to that
game. And pardon?
How do you respond to that?
Well, easily. I think we're just not going to play that game. I think we're going to keep things stable. We're going to do our best into providing substantive assistance that works. But we're not going to engage in dollar-to-dollar diplomacy, and we're not going to try to outbid each other, and we're not going to try to, most of all, bribe government officials for diplomatic means.
Okay, thank you so much for talking to us. Thank you for your time, Vincent Chow.